Somebody is there behind all this. That which is behind all this is also behind our own buddhi and intelligence. That same intelligence permeates us, which permeates the entire universe. That is why it is Anoraniyan and Mahato Mahiyan. We are constituent of atoms, empty spaces. But how to keep those empty spaces empty? That is Chaitanya. How to not let our hands collapse in our stomach? That is Chaitanya. How not to let this whole universal structure fall into a zero? That is Chaitanya. That Chaitanya Shakti, that intelligence is Brahman as per our Upanishad. And they have used the word Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Jnanam is there in that. Satyam, it exists. Jnanam, it knows. Anantam, it's infinite, because when the universe dies, it does not die. So many stars are born, so many stars die every day. But that intelligence does not die. Tell me, in the whole of the world, anybody has given a more precise, concise and perfect definition of that intelligence? Nobody. Only Upanishads have given. Long, long ago they have given. Thousands of years ago. How did they come to know? By simply meditating on this truth. Truth revealed to them. So to whom it will reveal? The person who has completely controlled the senses, the mind, whose buddhi is not moving, it's steady. He has no desires whatsoever, no wants, therefore no sorrows, no disturbances. To such a person, the subtler than the subtlest and the greater than the greatest truth reveals. He alone sees, that's what Yama is saying. So such a person, when he knows what he knows, I am that Chaitanyam, he becomes Mahimanam. He experiences great glory. I am everything. In Taittiriya Upanishad, the Rishi who realizes says, I am Vrikshasya Riva, Kirti Prishtham Gire Riva. I am the root cause of this universal tree. I am as if on the top of the mountain. Like this he says. Because he experienced so much of glory. Mahimanam Manabhavati. He experiences glory. I am not just this little puny body. I am not this ugly mind which thinks all kinds of things. I am not even this Kutila Buddhi which keeps thinking of crooked things. I am that glorious Chaitanya Shakti which permeates everything from into the subatomic particle all the way to the entire cosmos. Me alone is, I alone is. This idea is the Brahman's idea. That is what our true nature is what Yama is telling. This is the question Nachiketa asked. Tell me that anyatra dharma, adanyatra dharmat, anyatra asmat krita kritat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha, yat tat pashyasi tad vada, he had told. And he says, that which is beyond dharma, dharma, because dharma, dharma is all in our mind. That which is beyond krita, akrita, karana and karya, it has no karana, it is the karana for itself. It has no karya, it is everything happens for it. What is that, he asks? Bhutacha bhavyacha, that which is not depending on past or future. What is that? This is that, he's saying. See, yat tat pashyasi tad vada. What that you see, you tell me. He says, tamakratu pashyati. The one whose desires are done, who is no more desires left, such a person sees it, he says. Asino duram vrajati, shayano yati sarvataha, kastam mada madam devam, Badanyo gyatum arhati. He says, what is the nature of this truth, the self? Asino duram vrajati. Though it sits here, it travels everywhere. It means what? It is here, it is there also. It is not, now don't imagine it is like yourself in a body who sits here and also sits there. It's not possible. But as you start going subtle and subtle, from the body you get into the mind. Mind sits here and also travels everywhere. You are here, your mind is here right now. Also mind goes off to America. Anywhere it can go, any distance. It can go to galaxies beyond. Mind is like that. Subtler than the mind is this awareness. This awareness goes everywhere. You can be sitting here and immediately be aware of your home. You can be aware of your own inside as well as you can be aware of everything outside. All this happens simultaneously in you. If you go a little more deeper and understand, you will understand, though it is here, it is everywhere, because this Chaitanya Shakti is within you, in the atom, subatomic space, and also it is there in the entire universe. At the same time, though it is here, it is everywhere. The closest example is that of space. Space is there in this mic, space is there in this room, space is there outside, space is there in the universe. Is this different spaces? Are these different spaces, or is the same space which is everywhere? It's the same space. Suppose you make a house on a plain ground. Once you make a house, what happens? You make a living room, you make a dining room, you make a puja room, you make toilet, you make kitchen, and now their house is complete. Bedroom also is there. Now, before the house came, what was there? Space was there. Not air, space. And then when the house was built, what happened? Seemingly, the space got divided into living room and dining room and kitchen and this. But truth is, what did the space get divided ever? Space is one continuous thing. It is your imagination that this is living room space, that is dining room space. That is how we define it. That is because the functionality of it has changed. Again, vikara, modification. Purusha has become a husband. Purusha has become the son. The same man has become a teacher. The same man has become a father. Like that, the same space is now dining space, living space, and all kind of spaces. But the truth of it is what? It is one space only which is looking like many. So that is why the same space which is here is also there. It's everywhere. That is the idea. And also the beauty of the space is, just because it is a puja room space, the space does not become holier. Just because it's a toilet space, the space does not become dirtier. Same Chaitanya is everywhere. Through this Chaitanya only we come to know of bad things, good things, ugly things, holy things, unholy things. Everything we get to know through this Chaitanya Shakti. But this Chaitanya Shakti does not become ugly, holy or dirty. But dirty, good, ugly is all in our mind. We think like that. Likewise, this Chaitanyam is always pure. Just because this Chaitanyam is manifesting in a criminal's mind, Chaitanyam does not become dirty. Electricity, you use it for killing criminals in electric chairs, giving them shocks, or you use it to revive a dying patient, giving an electric shock. Electricity is electricity. It did not become unholy because we used it for an electric chair and killed a criminal, or it did not become holy because we used it to give a shock and revive a dying patient. Electricity remained electricity. Its use was different. Likewise, this awareness remains awareness. This intelligence remains intelligence. Use it for a wrong thing, that is a wrong use of the intelligence. But intelligence has not become wrong. Its usage is wrong. Similarly, intelligence has not become better, its usage is better. Like this Chaitanya Shakti, which is in all, does not become dirty or holy, it remains the same and pure, untouched. This is a meditation, thought of meditation. You have to sit and meditate. When you wake up in the morning, think how this space is not contaminated by anything. How this electricity is not affected by color of the bulb or wattage of the bulb. Electricity does not become happy. I want to light up only red color bulbs. I don't want to go into green color bulbs. It doesn't say like that because it goes to every bulb. That's why so many beautiful colorful bulbs come up and nice decorations are done. It doesn't choose and decide. It just goes everywhere. It's untouched, undisturbed. It has no likes and dislikes of its own. So likewise is this Chaitanyam, Asinam, it sits here, Duram Brajati, goes everywhere. Shayano, as if it is sleeping here, Yati Sarvataha, and also goes everywhere. It is sleeping, yet it's awake and is everywhere. That is like paradoxical. The same paradox as Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. It's here, it's there. It means it's everywhere. Space is here, space is there, space is everywhere. Likewise, this ātman is here, ātman is there, and ātman is everywhere. That is how you have to understand. So you asked how tarka helps. Only to this extent tarka helps. Beyond that, anubhava only. To anubhava that you are here, there, everywhere as ātman is an anubhava that you must have it for yourself. Logic cannot take you beyond this. The logic can take you and tell you, think of ātman just as you can think of space, which is here, there, everywhere. And it is not attached or contaminated by whatever happens in it. Like rain happens, space is not becoming wet. Fire happens, space is not getting burnt. Wind happens, space is not getting moved. And some good person walks, space is not becoming holy. A bad person walks, space is not become dirty. Space is space. Like that, this Shuddha Chaitanyam is Shuddha Chaitanyam only. That is our true self. All others are vikaras, modification of that. And we imagine it to becoming better and worse. And he says, this is such a subtle thing. Who can know it? And Yama says, Kastam Mada Amadam Devam. How can one know that Devam? Deva is derived from the root word Diva, means effulgent, illuminating. So this knowledge which is so illuminating, so enlightening, self brilliance is there in that, this knowledge. What is this nature? Mada amadam. It's beyond the happiness and sorrow. That is what I said. A space is beyond the idea of holiness and unholiness. Likewise, mada amada, happiness or sorrow. Mada also, technically, mada is arrogance. Or that I am everything, because Mahato Mahiyan. Or I am nothing, Anoraniyan. Both it is not affected by. It is not thinks it's small, or it doesn't think it is huge. It has no such. We have all kinds of pride. We are arrogant of our education, we are arrogant of our money, we are arrogant of our birth, which good family we are, rich family we are born in. But this thing has no such mada. Because it does not have any arrogance or happiness derived out of arrogance, there is no opposite also existing, which is not having arrogance. So both don't exist for this. It is just it is. It is not affected by anything. And he says, who can know it? Devam mat anyo gyatum arhati. Such a thing, who can know it other than me, Yama is saying. Other than somebody who is like me, who can know this truth? Yama is a Brahmagyani. Somebody asked the question. Is Yama Brahmagyani? When he's talking all these things? Yes, he is. That's why he says, other than me, because Yama has no desire. Does he go and kill somebody because he doesn't like them? Or does he give extra life to somebody because he likes them? He has no such thing. He just goes about doing his duty. As per your karma, he'll come and pick you up or he will drop you back. He just does his duty, unaffected by anything else. Therefore, Yamadharmaraja is one who has no desire, whose indriyas are in his control, whose mind is under his control. And because he is like that, therefore he is able to know the truth of Brahman. So Nachiketa has come to the right teacher. He knows. Only such a person as me will come to know of it. Means the one who is completely pure, unaffected. You will think Yama is such a bad deity, kills everybody. He doesn't kill. Just now we read who gets killed, who kills. Nor he comes early and picks up anybody, nor he comes half an hour late also. He comes pakka on time. One person who never misses appointment is Yama. Perfectly on time he will come, and on time he will do his things. He will never delay even by a minute. That is Yama. So he is not affected by anything. He just does his duty. So he says, who other than me, as I am, can know about this self? And how is this self again describes? He says, Ashariram sharireshu anavastheshu avasthitam mahantam vibhum ātmanam matva dhiro na shochati. Ashariram, it doesn't have any body of its own, this Chaitanya. Can you say Chaitanya is of this shape or that shape? The person may have a body. The intelligence, like science, does not have a form. Textbooks have a form. Science apparatuses have a form. Teacher has a form. Science class has a form. Science as a subject does not have any form. Likewise, this Shuddha Chaitanya has no form, no sharira. Ashariram it is. We know of 6 things about sharira. Jayate, asti, jayate, and then vardante, viprinamate, apakshiyate, and mriyate, means dies. These are the 6 modifications to body. Because it does not have any modifications, so it does not have any body. It is not born, it does not grow, it does not stop growing and then reverse decaying and then finally dying. All this does not happen to it. That's why it is asharira. Does not have any particular sharira. But sharireshu, it lives inside shariras. It lives inside you, me, and everything else. It does not have a sharira of its own, but it lives inside us. Like space has no shape of its own. It just takes the shape of whatever is built in it. So anavastheshu, in the impermanent things, avasthitam, it stays as a permanent thing. Bodies die and go, but it remains. So that is the idea of its nature. Mahantam vibhum ātmanam. Mahantam, it is glorious. It's amazing. It cannot be described how glorious it is. Mahantam, and the ultimate. Mahantam also means the ultimate. Beyond that, there is no other truth. This is the final. Discard the body, you have a truth of the mind. Discard the mind, you have truth of buddhi. Discard the buddhi, you have truth of experiences. Discard the experience, this awareness is the truth. This cannot be further discarded. This is the ultimate and the final. This is the param, mahantam. And vibhum ātmanam. Vibhum means that which permeates everything, pervades everything, which becomes many and permeates everything. That is vibhum ātmanam. This very self is everywhere. So you cannot say my self is different from her self is different from his self. No. We all have the same self, same awareness. It's the same science subjects we all study. I study more, you study less, that is your problem. But we all study the same knowledge. Like that knowledge is not differentiating. This is a good student, I want to be known to him. This is a bad student, I don't want to reveal myself to him. No. Science is science, anybody can study. Like that, this awareness is there for everyone. It's in all. It's up to us whether we realize it. And how do we realize it? He says, Matva dhiro na shochati. The one who comes to know, Matva, who? Dhiraha. A dhira comes to know and then na shochati and is never again sorrowful in his life. Always happy. Who is a dhira? Dhi means buddhi. Dhi means dhairya, courage. Both are required. Who is one who has courage to control his mind and senses and not fall prey to the mind and senses? The person who has the ability to discard unwanted desires and not fall prey to those unwanted desires. That person who can keep his mind steady and not allow it to become fickle and unsteady. That is a person who is dhira, who can discard the world for the sake of God. That person is dhira. Slowly understand what are the weaknesses, what are the wrong thoughts, what are unnecessary, and discard them and develop more and more strength to become strong in your resolution to achieve yourself. So that is a dhira who is able to do this. And such a person who is a dhira, na shochati, never comes to sorrow and grief in his life once he realizes that he is none other than that true self, that Chaitanyam alone, which does not die, which does not born. Why do we become sorrowful? Because we are fearful. We have so many types of sorrows. Fear is one sorrow. Loss is another sorrow. Noting down, you have plenty of types of sorrows. All those sorrows are born when we have attachments. If you have no attachment, there is no sorrow. Suppose some accident happens in Chikbalapur. At best, what you will do? Papam. May God bless them. May they attain heaven. Something you will pray like that. Suppose the accident happened to your own kith and kin. Can you just leave it at that? May God bless him, leave it. My brother, you will rush immediately to save. And suppose the person dies, that's it. You are miserable for the rest of your life. So attachments only are sorrowful. If something doesn't belong to you. Suppose I have given away something to somebody. If that person loses it, why should I have the sorrow for that? It's already given away. I sold my house to somebody else, let us say. It's been registered in the next person's name. Or my car has been sold to somebody. It's registered in that person's name. Now if the car goes and meets with an accident, am I going to be sorrowful? So no sorrow because there is no attachment. You have distanced yourself from that. Similarly, when you distance yourself from this body, this mind, the relationships, the attachments, the desires, no sorrow. And to do that, dhiraha, you need the strength and the courage of a dhira. Weak-minded people cannot do this. Weak-minded people, I want this, I want that, I want this like that, I want like that, I want these friends, they should love me, they should care for me, these people will never attain ātman, it's very clear. Those who can distance themselves from all these temporary things and focus only on that permanent, that is self, the Chaitanyam, they alone come to know of it, nobody else. And once you come to know of what happens, such a beautiful thing happens, never there is a sorrow. We know all of us are living for what? Dukkha nivritti, ananda prapti. We want to get rid of our sorrow and experience happiness. Everybody is doing that, from an ant to a human, to yogi, to rishi, Brahman. Everybody wants to be in a happy state only. Avoid sorrow. This is the best way to avoid sorrow. Why? Because you have come to know your mahantam vibhum atmanam. There is no more sorrow for you. You are the prince. You don't have to steal anything. Everything belongs to you. Everybody is yours. You don't have to specially ask somebody to love you. Because you love everybody, or naturally you receive love from all. Even if you don't receive, you don't care. Your joy is to love. Our desires are the cause why we cannot see God, why we cannot experience this truth. Once we cut down our desires, the easiest way to cut down desire is everything God knows. He will provide whatever is required. Anta Brahman, everything is Brahman. Does Brahman not know that I need this now? So he will provide. If Brahman knows that I want this now and still is not providing, means what? It is not necessary. It will be detrimental to my spiritual growth. It will not be good for me. Therefore it is being avoided. Sometimes he gives more than what we deserve. That's why when we get more than what we get, nobody asks the question, Swami, why me? Why are you giving so much to me? When you don't get, then why me? Why I did not get this? No, in both situations, Mada, Amada, completely remain neutral. That is your Shuddha Chaitanya Rupa. That is what that Brahma Swarupa is, Parabrahman is. Meditate on this thought. That is your true nature. Everything else is false. Everything else will happen if that happens.